So good morning. And I can't really see, so I've put my glasses, so there's some familiar faces. But I'll still introduce myself. So I'm Neng, and he is my colleague. And we're both from National Highways, and we'll just be presenting the specification, really what we've been doing since we were here last year at the conference and presented at the conference, and what we'll continue doing in the future. So I'll just take off my glasses because I could see close by. So what we will be going through is really these three points. I will look at the first aspect, A, so looking at asset management overall, giving you a bit of an overview of what it is we're doing and how we're going to be doing it and how this relates to our standards. And E will be going through maybe what's maybe the most interesting part of our presentation is all about NCHW and DMRB, our standards, etc. and future. So who we are, this is just going back to basics, i.e. what National Highways is and what we stand for. These three imperatives are our heartbeat: safety, customer, delivery. Why? Because they really ensure that we do the right thing in the right way at the right time. All of this is embedded within sustainability because we need to ensure that we're actually contributing to the economy, that we are looking at whole life, and also ensuring we're meeting the needs of our customers and also protecting our environment. Two publications I'd like to bring to your attention are the Environment and Sustainability Strategy and the Net Zero Carbon Plan. For the latter, I'll just go into a bit more detail and try to focus it more on pavements, particularly concrete. So, Net Zero Plan. Most of you are familiar with the Department for Transport's publication, Decarbonising Transport, which is all looking at, which they published in 2021, which is all looking at how they're going to reduce carbon over the transport system within the UK. And in response to that, National Highways published the Net Zero Highways, looking at how we're going to, looking at our various targets in the coming decades for net zero. So what I'm going to focus on here is how we're working on delivering it and what our plan looks like and what our main focus is. So we're here delivering project initiation documents. So a lot of you may or may not have heard it. It's called PIDs, and is really here to support our goals in achieving this net zero. What mainly is of interest to you is the PIDs 2.5. That's looking at carbon reduction in concrete, asphalt, and steel. We're doing something different. As you know, asset life cycle and asset management is all about what everyone within National Highways could contribute towards the life cycle of our assets. So what we're doing here, we're actually developing something. SES is our directorate, so Safety, Engineering and Standards. But what we're doing here is developing with a procurement plan, with the procurement, what it is, what these plans will look like, what these carbon reduction plans will look like, and really focusing on our contracts. Our contracts really underpin everything we do. So we want our contract to help us achieve these carbon reductions. Three main areas that we're not really looking at. We want to, with these, what we're trying to do is identify what the quick wins are, what we're really doing well, highlight those and ensuring that we do those. And also areas of development, again, with your contribution and all these intelligence in this room and wider supply chain, we're really trying to develop and get better at carbon reduction, at our materials, understanding how our pavements work. The other aspect, again, as I mentioned, is working with you and trying to look at these key opportunities in everything we do through maintenance and construction. Again, achieving this net zero is not possible without you and without your support, and also with the intelligence that we have. And ultimately is to deliver this timeline. This timeline has to be challenging, has to be ambitious, but it also has to be realistic. But we have to develop something that we are able to do, and that's what we're really working on. This timeline, before I forget it, is really looking at how we could achieve net zero for pavement maintenance and construction. So focusing on net zero and focusing on pavement maintenance and construction. I'm not going to say everything that's on this slide, but I'll just highlight some key points that I think are most relevant. Strategically, what we're looking at is really opportunities. What are these opportunities? We want to reduce and build less. What we're looking at here is trying to do better what we have. So ensuring that we're maximizing our asset and ensuring that through this maximization of our assets, we're actually reducing our carbon. One of the examples, some of you are working on it and some of you are aware of it, is the Legacy Concrete Program. Here we introduced something called Life Extension Works, and the name says it all really. With our concrete pavement, most of you know, we're arriving to the end of life or beyond the design life of the pavements. And what these life extension works are is we're trying to increase the life of the pavement for another 10, 20, even 30 years before we actually go on to doing any reconstruction. Then what we have to consider, which is listed there, what the whole life cost aspects are, any interdependencies with other technologies, because this is really becoming not something, but it's really here and it's no longer a pipeline vision. And also acid resilience and climate change. Again, one important aspect here is working with you in innovation and collaboration in order to deliver something that is actually tangible and actually we can achieve our carbon reduction plans. The focus is on developing a carbon plan for pavement construction and maintenance to achieve, I'll just read it, to achieve net zero by 2050 linked to the asset management approach. What is key here is that everything we do is underpinned by asset management and asset management approach. And you may be wondering, what is this asset management approach? So we have, these are a list of some of our drivers and some of our challenges, and we are using both of these aspects to almost amalgamate them and deliver something that is really renew how we do asset management and really think of it and make sure it's at the focus, at the front of everything we do. So by embedding or amalgamating both these drivers and challenges, we want to produce a standardized process for our asset management. We want to enable net zero. We want to arrive to digital roads, and we want to digitize and automate our processes, which is really linked to the changes we're doing to our MCHW. So how are we going to achieve this? I'll read this out. But we're going to achieve this by maintaining the performance, integrity, and resilience of our assets to deliver the service to our customers. The main points I want to focus on is those that are in the box, so 1, 4, and 5. So here what we are saying is that we want to use more intelligence as how we deliver and how we deliver our assets, how we make decisions. So really maximizing our data, maximizing our asset management tools, and also maximizing how we use our digital technology. Second, managing our asset risk more effectively, and ultimately enabling our net zero commitments through asset management. To do all this, we need to adapt our standards and specifications in order to support these ambitions. So this is the end of my section, but what I want to summarize is that our approach to updating the standards is really underpinned by, has to be proportionate to risk and value adding. So strategically, we want whole life benefits. We want our standards, such as DMRB, we're going to asset life cycle as they've been delivered. We delivered a new DMRB and you've all used it. And you all came with us comments either via email, phone calls, meetings, all sorts. And we're really grateful for that. But now we have to look at how we could improve it further. And that is the life cycle. Then there's the MCHW, that will be SHW. And E will be able to go through these two standards with you. And what does success look like in all this process? Really, success is our collaboration with you, the industry and the wider supply chain. And how we are able to use your intelligence, how we're able to use our innovations in materials, in construction techniques to actually deliver what it is that we want, and this really ambitious goal that we have. And also proactively plan our works. As you know, we're not always the best, and we're not always the best at doing all the planned works, but that's what we want to achieve. We want to be more proactive in the way we maintain our roads, and with your help, I'm sure we'll be able to achieve it. I'll pass on to E.
Good morning, everyone. I'll talk about, in the next few slides, the work we've been doing or will be doing on the DMRB and MCHW. So back in 2020, DMRB was relaunched in new consistent format. Now in Road Period 2, we're looking to update the refresh and update the MCHW and go through the DMRB cyclic review. And the contents, the work includes updates to Series 1000, and there are changes associated with the publication of the Concrete Payment Maintenance Manual, which came out last year. And there will be introduction of the Legacy Concrete Program, a payment program, life extension works to England National Application Annex. So this presentation will focus on the future SHW, which is the work that's underway. The big bump application is due by the end of the Road 2 period, 2025. The payments, the MRB cyclic review will be starting soon. There will be changes associated with the future SHW. There will be feedback from the industry and also efficiencies and decarbonization opportunities related. So the structure of the future SHW. So we're familiar with the current MCHW in the volume structures. It will be replaced. Volume 1 and Volume 2 will be fully updated. Volume 3, the highways construction details, it will be removed with the relevant drawings or contents moved to the relevant DMRB and MCHW. All the old documents will still be made available through the Standards Highways website, although the contents will not be maintained. In the future SHW, so we can have a look, it's got the specification for highway standard, highways works, and the instruction for specifiers documents. The bill's quantity will be attached to the relevant schedule. So in the instructions for specifiers document, it will be published with both the default set of constructor requirements and also the specifiers instruction on the work-specific requirements related to the SHW requirements. So this may look familiar. So it's the asset lifecycle matrix, which we adopted for the DMRB relaunch, where we have the CD2 documents for the payment design. And so for the future SHW, after considering various options, we decided the best approach was to follow the asset lifecycle matrix, which we've applied for the DMRB. And this will hopefully help improve the usability. And also the new SHW document will come under CC, so construction, payment construction, CC2. So they will help align the relevant documents, the design standards as well. Okay, so we mentioned it's going to be CC, starting with CC2. So on the right-hand side, you have a list of the future payment SHW documents. So if I take a few to have a look, so CC201 will be the payment foundation construction. The specification will contained in that document, and which will primarily replacing the current 800 series. It also have the capping from the current 600, and also a few other clauses from 700, such as regularity. The current 1000 series will be split into two documents, CC203, rigid payment construction, which is a new build and widening, CC206, maintenance payment, concrete slabs and bases, which is the maintenance section. The title may look a bit misaligned. We'll come on to that. It seems a bit long title, but I'll explain that later. So the idea is the relevant information for foundation, for example, there will be one single design document, CD225, and then here we'll have the construction information contained in one document, CC201. So hopefully when the specification and schedule, so when schedule prepared for that, there will be less cross-referencing, and the same applies to the other documents as well. So we're hoping to bring clear links and pathways between the design documents and the specification documents. So here on the left, you have the current DMRB design documents. On the right, we have the future SHW documents. So again, taking the pavement foundation construction, for example, so we have the CD225 as a design, CC201 as the specification and schedule. So with this update, we're hoping to move towards a full compatibility between DMRB and MCHW and digitally enabling machine readability as a part of the journey towards end-to-end digital. So what does end-to-end digital mean? So one aspect it can be explained is we have a payment design coming out based on the DMRB documents, and there will be relevant requirements on the specification linking towards the linking to the future SHW document. So, and also work-specific input from the SHW documents as well. So then the specification pop up at the end of the process. We're not quite there with the end-to-end digital, but all this update work, it's kind of will facilitate the process to help us move in that direction. So at the moment, we're prioritizing the future SHW document to work. The MRB, when it starts the cyclic review, again, we'll engage with the industry. So just moving on. So what is changing? I took a screenshot from current 1000 series, which is on the left, and the screenshot from the draft documents on the right. It's transverse joined if you can't read it, but there's no particular reason I chose that clause, so I'm not expecting anyone to read it. So hopefully, instantly, you can see the difference. So it's a lot less cramped from the future SHW. One of the drafting rules is SHW requirement needs to be split out. So there will be one requirement in every single clause. And there is also other drafting rules, such as being unique and specific. For example, when we have concrete slabs, and then it may be mistaken structural slab, so hence we have the pavement concrete slab. That's why some of the title may look extra long. In the future SHW, there will be elements for the constructor requirements, SHW requirements, and also placeholders for specifiers to put in work-specific requirements. And there will be elements of the national determined requirements of sections. In the future SHW requirements, we can only put in anything related to do with products, materials, or construction activities related to products or materials. For example, construction activities to make sure the products and materials are installed properly, in other words, installation workmanship, or construction activity related to the verification, including testing or inspection, to make sure the work is acceptable, and documentation to make sure the other requirements are met. Here. So just to wrap up, though, we have all the MCHW content will have editorial updates. In the payment foundations, there will be a single design document, CD225, and the specification and schedule will be contained in CC201. We're looking at potential adoption of the BSEN 16907 Part 4 for soil stabilization. And we're reviewing and updating to open up opportunities for low-carbon cement or binders. In the rigid pavement construction, including widening and new build, the design information will be contained in the single document, CD226. The specification and schedule will be in CC203, and there will be updates to CRCP and CRCB based on the feedback from the industry. And again, we're looking to review and update to open up opportunities for future for low carbon products and materials. In maintenance of pavement, concrete slabs and bases, the design information is pretty much contained in the design standard CD227, specification schedule in 206, and there will be surface treatment in CC204. There will be updates based on the innovation and feedback from the ongoing concrete pavement road programs and the feedback from industry. We're taking the approach to open repair materials up to innovation and low carbon opportunities via the SIPT route and potentially third-party certification with end performance requirements. So last but not least, so what does success look like? So I hope by working collaboratively with industry and proactively planning work linked to our imperatives, safety, customer, and delivery, and better serve the needs of our customers and ongoing improvement and learning, we'll get there eventually. That's all from me. Thank you for listening. Any questions?